Hi, it's Patricia and Nimra from Twin Flame Body. Hi Nimra, how are you?
Good on you.
So Nimra's been working with me for a while. How long now?
4 years.
4 years. And Nimra's getting ready to do energy work. She is ready for it. If you need energy work, let us know. We do distance work. So today what we're going to talk to you about is we want to talk about separation. How people separate, why they separate, because sometimes it's not really understood as to some of the really good valid reasons for the separation. And so I brought Nimra in to not only help me talk about it because I have my experiences, she has some really great information and experience about this too. So, maybe first we'll talk about, I'll tell a little bit about how people separate. How some of the separation happens is through the metaphysical subtle bodies, or some people call them the supple bodies, the aura, energy field. These are all valid, but there are actually a few subtle bodies, a primary one being the ego. So when people tend to see or meet, their ego is involved and they're pulling away. So they're sometimes yanking away, and then there becomes other aspects of them. The root chakra particularly, where sometimes there's some really deep things. So I'm just, why don't you tell me a little bit of your experience about that, Nimra?
So I met my twin 4 years ago, and the way we met was metaphysical, I would say, and everything was going well, but I did sense that there were a lot of things that was triggering me, like insecurities that would come up at any time, and same thing for him as well. And then it's funny because when we separated, I felt in my heart that I needed a break from him, like not a full total separation, but I just felt that for 2 weeks I needed to be away from him. But that same day he decided to break up with me, and of course it was very painful, very, very painful, and that's why I really understand how the hurt that anyone can feel, especially when they can sense, okay, this person is somebody I'm destined to be with, but they are not seeing it, or maybe there's just fears. And what I felt with my twin is that there was a lot of fears, but all this anger was coming up. And I think at the time when we separated, it was a time, it was an energetic time where there's a lot of angers coming out of me, like my reproductive areas were clearing. So a lot of angers was coming up, so that kind of made things a little worse. But I don't know why something kept telling me in my heart that he's the one and that I should not give up. And every time I remember that I was trying to forget about him and give up, I would see letters like on people's bags or t-shirts, never ever give up. And I started to sense this energy, and who would actually talk to me and tell me to call him and text him, and I felt that it was my twin. And then I would reply back, but wait, we separated, like he doesn't want me to text him, like why are you pushing me? And sometimes there's moments where I would be crying and I would feel this energy telling me I love you, and it wasn't a voice, it was more like a vibration that I would just sense. I would just understand what that vibration was telling me. And also after our separation, the next day I remember I woke up because I had a nightmare where my twin was with somebody else. I woke up and I clearly remember I shouted those words saying that he's not gone, he's right here with me. And at the time I had no awareness of my etheric twin, of my twin within me. And I remember right after that I started to kiss the air around me. I don't know why. I just automatically, my lips started to kiss the air, and I was holding like a face in front of me. So I'm not gonna lie, it was very, very confusing because I was totally in love with this man, but at the same time, he was totally he didn't want to have anything to do with me anymore, and he wasn't even mean or anything, but I could sense that he needed his break and needed to be away from me. And so I went to several healers, several people to kind of help me make understand what was happening with me. But in all honesty, I did not get the answer I needed. But I started to keep talking to this energy, because this energy just kept coming up to me and showing me phrases behind on the cars and sometimes on the boards. And one point, that the phrase that I saw was "J'aime Paris," which means "I love Paris." So I am from France, so I had a sense that this energy was telling me to go back to France. And at the time, my mom had visited me, so I told her, you know what, I think that there's nothing for me right now here in the US. I need to come back home. So I went back home, and I kept feeling this energy, and this energy would show me things with my twin's name all the time. Would show me certain numbers, and next to those numbers there would be the people with his name, and it would be like a tingling sensation, like right here on my face, and I would just know, okay, this is this energy. And I kept watching all these YouTube videos about all these twin flame couples, and there were so many conflicting ideas when I was watching all these people talking. Some couples were saying you have to accept that you may not ever be with your twin in this lifetime, and you're just going to have to work on yourself and wish them well. Some people were saying, oh, I was able to just cut off my connection with my twin. And some other people were saying, oh, you know what, I just stopped dealing with my twin. It's better to be with a soulmate. It's more comfortable. When you're with a twin, it's just a lot of hurt and pain. And in all honesty, it did not help me, because my goal was to be with my twin, this love that I felt strongly in my heart. And then I started to see Patricia's videos, and something pushed me towards her and pushed me to book a session, because at some point I was crying a lot, thinking about him, and I just didn't know what to do. And I also started to vomit, to feel very nauseous, but nothing would come out. It was just, I just felt nauseous, but nothing would come out. So I remember when on my first session, I was talking to Patricia, and I was just crying and crying. And that's when she explained me about previous lifetimes where I was with my twin, and we separated, where he died young, and we were actually living in France at the time. So all these things are actually getting cleared out of me. And also she explained me how this nausea is because I'm actually clearing my solar plexus from other connections, etc. And then that's when she advised me to fast, and I started to do one-to-one sessions with her. So that's what really helped me and put me on the right track to understand who was this energy, who was this, that my twin was also always with me, inside me, and that I could ask him anything, and he would just be there to reply to me and talk to me. So yeah. It was difficult. That 1 year before I met you, Patricia, I'm not gonna lie, it was very difficult. Like going from one healer to the other and never really getting the sort of answers that you need, where it was just very vague and people just putting their hands on you, but you just don't feel much, but you just believe that somehow it's doing something for you. But yeah.
Well, you definitely did the work. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, just a lot of people might feel that there's some past lives, and, I definitely saw a lot of my past lives, but it's not an automatic thing for everyone. But the past in general is something that you did a really good job of clearing up. But it's those times that, what I would call it is, it's simply time to like pull that stuff apart, yank that apart. And that to me is one of the most valid reasons for why do we separate in the first place. It's to, why would you carry it around together? And why would you uphold something that you really just want to let go of anyway?
I agree with you because these past life wounds and trauma, they actually get reflected between both twins, I believe. And I think that's what my twin was reflecting back to me, and I was reflecting it back to him. And the worst part is that I believe we did it unconsciously. I don't think we
Yeah, the
purposefully
mirror
said things to
happens.
trigger them. It just happened because those things needed to be healed. And so, yes, the separation actually helps you a lot to heal these things, especially for women. The reproductive areas, when it clears out, it gives you so much more clarity. It's it really opens your heart. You don't feel afraid of men. You don't feel afraid of being touched. You really indulge in your sexuality, your sacral area as a woman. Like, it's not a dirty thing or something that is prone to be wounded. You don't feel like being closed off or feel like you have to be this powerful woman who doesn't have any emotions and acts like men. No, so you start to embrace both masculine and feminine inside you, and so you don't feel like you have to be or portray something that you're not anymore. You can be as caring and as confident as you want.
Yeah, I agree. I think that part is confusing for people where they wonder, you know, is this twin flame thing, what is it going to require of me? Do I have enough power? Am I strong enough? And the strength really comes from love and feeling more love and feeling even more love on top of that. But getting there is the process of clearing things out. The other thing that you mentioned, you know, like things like shame, judgment, self-judgment, these are definitely in the root in a lot of people's cultures, you know, like how I was raised, good girls do this, bad girls don't do that. How do you enjoy yourself? How do you feel proud of yourself, but without other people's opinions on you? And it's not just by telling people off, it's like moving away from all that stuff energetically. So when the ego that's been sort of cluttered up with all of the ways that we've had to cope can start to clear it, you know, to me, this is really one of the good reasons why people separate. And the how of it, you know, how do you do it? Sometimes it's like you said, it's sort of mutually agreed on the inside that I've got to go over here to do some of this. You've got to go over here to do your family stuff. Is that what you found?
Yes, because after we broke it off, I had this strong sense that me and my twin met at the right time and separated at the right time. Even though I was very upset, very sad about it, deep down in my heart, something was telling me that everything is happening as per the plan. Like, there's no issue actually. But because we are in these physical bodies and we have had all this trauma, these wounds from past lives, including this life, it's very difficult to really understand at the beginning. So that's I think the toughest part in this journey. It's make up between what your heart is telling, but then how you're feeling, and also make up the difference between what you're seeing outside, because you may be seeing your twin with somebody else, or just totally ignoring your phone calls or your texts, and you may feel that, oh, they are not responding to me, they just don't love me anymore. But that's not it. The love is there between the both of you. It's just that it's more than likely covered by fears, insecurities, and wounds, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and those wounds, they run really deep, but it's not something that the twin can't dig out. You know what else, for me, you brought up a really good point about things like how the real twin communicates. You know, I really want to get away from like some of the false stuff that people say about twin flames out there. Like, you were confused by it. I was confused in the beginning, except I feel like there was a part of me that really wasn't confused because I was questioning it. Like, why would my twin be in a completely different realm or be dead? What's the point in that? Why am I alive here then? It just didn't seem to make sense. But I had someone tell me that my twin just wasn't here. In retrospect, what I think they picked up on was a past life where there was a terrible tragedy of an accident, but they couldn't get beyond that. So this reader could not read beyond that. And I decided to stick with what I felt inside, which was that, you know, I'm here to do this. I'm really here to do this. And that the heart communication, when you make those kind of decisions, your twin just comes to you, is so sweet with you. Like they never seem to have a bad day. And it's so different to have that from another plane versus on the human level, where they can have a bad day, they get tired, they make a mistake, they don't get you a gift or something, or you feel rejected or slighted. So, you know, Nimra and I have worked on this quite a bit. Nimra's done a lot of work about this. We are
I'm still
going
working.
to be having.
I'm still working on it. I'm not done yet.
Yeah. Well, you've come through a lot of stuff, a lot of heaviness. So what we're going to talk to you about too is we're going to have a series of classes coming up to help you, some webinars to help you with things like heart communication, really true heart communication. How do you use your subtle body connections, which are the divine connections that God wants you to use, versus just a device? Because those can be disappointing, and if there's a storm around, they may not even be reliable, but you always have a reliable heart connection. What do you do to remove some of the wounding, whether it's day in and day out kind of, you know, normal tiredness, rejection, twin flame burnout, or something vitally important that you need a decision on? How would you do that and really be able to do it like this at will? So these are some of the things we know about. We want to teach you. We're adept at it. We want you to come up a level and have your twin come up to meet you, and not you delving down to meet them wherever they are. So it's time for us to talk about real twin, not the stuff of Earth that keeps, you know, rolling around like there's another season of it. Real twin stuff. So check it out. The links are below. Check out Nimra's bio. If you speak French, she also speaks French, so she can help you in French. We will be doing some classes bilingual in English and French, and she's sweet. She has a huge heart. You do. And I would say it's only increased, not decreased. There's no blocks. Well, let's just put it this way. Feels like there's no blocks. So please, you know, check it out. Look for the links below, or email at twinflamebody@gmail.com and let us know. We will let you know when that's coming up very soon. Thanks so much. Thanks, Nimra. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
For me too.
Bye.
Bye.